It's crazy, like taking the design of this RBR design and like having so many variants of it like throughout the years, and like keeping it interesting and fun and new. And I don't know, I'm just trying to like be more like appreciative and proud of what like I'm doing. I get so fucking tied up in work that all I can see most of the time is where I'm failing or lacking. I'm like not sitting there going, fuck yeah, dude, I killed this. I'm usually just like, fuck, I missed that deadline, or I missed this, or this is happening, or this is broken. Now it's going to put me behind. Like, why is it so easy for humans to get consumed by like what's going wrong instead of getting consumed by what's going right? That might be a modern day thing, honestly. That might be something that's like even maybe a Westerner thing. I think with me, the fear of being too appreciative of what I've accomplished is the fear of letting ego plant a seed like in there that grows and eventually creates your downfall. So it's like maybe the fear of like losing anything makes me not want to appreciate anything, because I'm like, well, I don't want to appreciate anything I'm doing, because then it might lead to me thinking I'm cool. And if I think I'm cool, then I'm going to fall off. And if I fall off, then I'm going to go buy my kid roller skates when she's 10 and she wants them. And then all her friends are roller skating. And then it leads to this crazy anxiety where I'm thinking about things that haven't even happened yet, or maybe won't even happen. It's nuts. So you got to get sleep and not smoke too much hash, and don't drink too much coffee. That's what I'm saying. Oh shit, butane. That's what I'm saying right now, actually. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Science. Evolution. All coming together so I can take this dab. A little low temper, that's nice. Oh, that is nice. Wow. Whoa. We're on a podcast. I'm just tasting terps over here. Don't mind me. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 88. Sorry about last week. We had a snow day. It was storming like crazy in Colorado and just not safe for our producer to travel down. So we took last week off. But I appreciate everyone that's been hanging out in lives all week with me on Twitch and everything. And the Patreon, Instagram, which is cool. If you want to join our Patreon, it's really awesome. We have monthly giveaways, we have scheduled lives, and then we also do Patreon lives on the Patreon Instagram only, where I pull people in, and we do like these like Zoom lives where like 4 of us will be all dabbing together and talking. So if you want to join, you want to jump in live with me, talk, hang out, ask questions, Patreon's the best place to do that. So you can find that and sign up for it. Link in the bio of my Instagrams, all of them. I'm not sure if we do them on the YouTube channels, but I'm sure we can figure it out. But man, episode 88, here we are. About to smoke a bunch of hash today. We have a 2022 standard RBR. That's my personal one. We have a 2020 double diffused. And then I have a ring drain here, which I don't even know if I had on the last episode. I don't think I did. And then we have the 5mm pocket RBR that I posted up on Instagram. People were super hyped on. We're going to talk about these today and the drop and how it's going to work. So a bunch of different things. And also some new accessories that we'll be dropping. We have a huge accessory drop that will be happening Friday the 18th. Which, not this Friday, but next Friday. Yeah, I think. Yeah. So it's going to be a big accessory drop with slurper marbles. We're going to have these flat top caps with the bear paw opals in them, like I just used on this Slurpee dab. So we're going to have a bunch of different stuff available. It's going to be really awesome. And let's get into today's episode. Now that we did all that stuff. Sign up for the newsletter, too, so you can know about those drops. So you get our emails. It's the best way to, because like Instagram, I don't always post about things, and also too, even if I do post about it, you're not always going to see it because it's Instagram and they're not chronological. They use an algorithm. So you're not always going to see things. So the best way to do it is to sign up for the newsletter so we can send it directly to your email so you know when everything's happening. Man, I just took a dab of some semi-truck from Oleo. Man, I've been really liking the Oleo this past week. I went to my dispensary, a cut above here in Colorado Springs. And they're like, oh, you got to check out this sour diesel, which I have some of the sour diesel too. And I'm like, oh, I don't usually buy oleo, but then I checked it out and it's solventless. But man, I don't know if like they got some new genetics or what, but man, it's just like super, super on point. Really enjoying it. The last month and a half or so, I've been smoking a lot of like Green Dot and BHO and stuff, and it was cool. And I still do, but now I'm smoking solventless again. I'm all over the place. In a month, I might be smoking only flower again. I like to switch it up. I like everything. I don't like just doing like one type of weed. I like doing all the weed. But yeah, so we got some cool flavors on the table today. We have semi-truck from them. We have gasoline fight, which is another one. And then we have the sour diesel. And we have gas tanker. Man, a bunch of gassy strains. Pretty much they had a bunch of different like gasoline terpenes. I was like, yeah, I'll just take all of them and like 3 of each. And then they're like, sir, you can only buy 8 grams of oil nowadays in Colorado. And I'm like, fuck, guess I'll be back tomorrow. That's the thing that sucks though, since they changed that 8-gram thing. Like it used to be, I think I used to be able to buy like an ounce or 2 or something of fucking concentrates. Now I can only get 8 grams per day. Which that sounds really funny coming out of my mouth because there's some people that are like, damn dude, 8 grams would last me a month. But, you know, I could show you how quick 8 grams could disappear in my studio. And it really depends on how much I'm working and how excited I am, or maybe if I'm stressed. You know what? All those are just excuses. I think I dab the same amount whether I'm stressed or excited. It's just in that moment I'm like, I'm stressed, I'm taking a dab. Or, oh, I'm excited, I'm taking a dab. Still just taking the same amount of dabs. So, but yeah, oleo's been super fire lately. I'm going to take a dab of this sour diesel because it's brand new. I haven't opened it. Just took these out of the fridge this morning for this episode. And I've been like saving this last gram of sour diesel for today's episode. So it's like, oh, I want to smoke it on there. Talk about the terpenes. Next week, we're going to have rare extracts on again, I believe. So we're going to do a bunch of terp talk. Man, this sour diesel. I mean, it is like, looks like almost like a radioactive yellow. It's like so light, but so bright too at the same time. That light bright, dude. That light bright yellow. It's like a piss yellow. I don't even know. It's beautiful. It's funny the way you describe cannabis stuff sometimes. It doesn't sound good. Like when people are describing terpenes, like, oh yeah, dude, it's like fucking cat piss, or it's like, oh, it's like fucking burnt rubber and fucking like rubber gloves, and people are like, ew, why the fuck, why do you want that? And it's like, I don't know why I want it, but I'm smoking it. I think at a certain point, it's just any terpene that's different is fun. It doesn't matter if it's like pleasant. At a certain level, you're just like, oh, I haven't tasted that before. Oh shit, come here, little pearl. I've been loving the 2022 standard. I kept this one because I accidentally scratched it when I was finishing it. And so shit happens. And I'll probably just maybe smoke it for a while, then give it to my dad or something. But they're just a little bit more compact. I'm like kind of like compacting everything a little bit. Everything got really big again. We've talked, if you've been watching this podcast a couple years, you've seen how I talk about how things like get really big and then the pieces get really big and then they'll get small and then big. And like now that I'm really learning on the lathe, I gotta unbutton this shit. This shit's like kind of like comfortable and uncomfortable at the same time. I just don't like the restriction of buttons. Oh, I'm free. Now that I have the lathe, I can really like pick how I want my proportions and stuff, because by hand it's tough to do the same exact proportion every time, but on the lathe you can find like a rhythm where you can make pretty close to the same proportion each time. And like this standard is like super perfect, besides the scratch. But the function, I mean, it's like super aggressive. Like the tornado, it's like, it's wild. Like, I don't know, like, it's crazy how minor changes in volume of the can and like, you know, the perk is a little bit more refined. And like, there's just really, it's such minor stuff. It's like probably not even that big of a deal, but it makes a difference with function, because I can like pull standards out from different years and hit them. And I'm like, oh man, like, well, they all hit great and do a great tornado. But there's a refinement you can feel every year as this product progresses and goes farther. Like you can really feel the refinements. You can see them too. I mean, the cleanliness is, I mean, I can't imagine in another 5 years how clean everything's going to be. I'm learning so much and I fucking practice every goddamn day. But yeah, just excited. Also excited too because the electricians just left today. We got our fucking, we got our new power all hooked up for our kilns. Now I just got to go rent like a little forklift and get these fucking things put on benches and stuff because they're so heavy. But yeah, I'm excited to actually start producing some flower pieces and like do the bubblers. Um, well, after this next Sunday sale, I'm basically gonna do like a separate like small bubbler drop. Not like that small, but I think people will think it's small because it's probably only gonna be like 20 bubblers. Um, but there's some glass blowers that don't even make like 20 pieces in a quarter of a year. Like so. That's what I gotta tell myself when I get really hard on myself about like not meeting my goals or getting a certain amount of glass made. I'm like, dude, like you fucking crushed still, like regardless, like. And at the end of the day, like you can hear it from someone else, but you have to like really believe it yourself. With a lot of things, you got to kind of convince yourself and like believe in, like whatever you're saying, you actually have to believe it. It's great when you have someone walk up to you and be like, "Hey, dude, you're fucking awesome." But if you're like depressed and have anxiety and you don't think you're awesome, then you're not going to feel awesome. It doesn't matter if you have 1,000 people tell you you're awesome. So that's my point, is that like I'm trying to find ways to be a little less hard on myself when I don't meet goals, because I'm setting like really high goals every single week. Like there's no breaks. I'm like, if I meet one high goal, I set an even higher one the next week. And it's like, it's good to have ambition and it's good to like want to achieve things, but it's also good to know when to take breaks. But that's hard to do, it's fucking hard to do when you feel like, if you're someone that grew up in an area that maybe you didn't have a lot of opportunity around you, or you didn't grow up in a family with money or anything like that, and you start having a little bit of success in your own life, there's like a genuine fear, I think, for most people like that are like, oh, dude, I got to keep working hard because if I stop, like I might lose this opportunity to be successful because like no one in my family has this. Like we're all fucked. Like we, like that's, I don't know. It's a real motivator when you know what the alternative is if you don't do well. It's crazy. Oh wait, I don't even know if I got that temp right. Fuck it, we're going in. It looks right. Ooh. Whoa! Sorry, I'm coughing in the mic so much. That sour diesel's so fire. It's not an East Coast sour diesel. It's definitely like, in my opinion, a West Coast interpretation of sour diesel. But that's my opinion. You know what I mean? That doesn't. You could talk to the person that grew this and hunted this or whatever, and they'll be like, "Oh, I talked to so and so, and he got it from this person. It's all like certified." And I'm like, "Cool, dude." Well, then whatever I was smoking in New York was bunk. It was the fake shit. We just had like the fake shit was the shit I was used to then. Whatever. I'm not arguing with people. It's not real. But still, it's really, really good. It's what I'll tell you the difference that I notice about sour diesels that are out west compared to like an East Coast one. Best way to describe it is like with wine. Okay, like you can have white wines that are really dry and then really sweet. West Coast and like Western sour diesels have a lot of gas, but they have this sweetness to them. They always have a little bit of a sweetness in there with that gas and some sour, but it's this sweet, gassy sour. It's good though. And it's very like awake, bright high. It makes you feel just like awesome. East Coast sour diesels are a dry, sour gas. And when I say sour, it's sour in a way when you take a hit of it, your mouth will start to water. But it has this like dry gasoline savoriness to it that's just like, it's incredible. And I don't get that out here at all. I do on certain strains, like from Green Dot, there's certain like gasoline terps that they offer that are like pretty close. Like, I mean, back in the day when I used to get SFV, that would be kind of close, but it was still a little bit more on the citrusy, brighter side compared to like the East Coast sour diesel. Just like, it comes from a dark, damp, just dark place. And I feel like that terpene just really flows well with the people there. It's just like sour, dry, just like this fucking, I don't know, man. Like real sour diesel, you know it when you hit it. You go, what the fuck was that? I don't know if anyone's ever had sage and sour. It was a strain back in the day. If you ever have that out west, I don't know if it's even around anymore, but that would be pretty close, but it would have more of that like weird sage spice terpene with the diesel. I don't know, but hey, terpenes are all right. It's all like opinion and what you're picking up on, because we all have a little bit different like taste buds and everything like that. So just giving you my experience with terpenes and flavors and hash. Weren't smoking a lot of sour diesel hash though. That might be the difference though too. A lot of the sour diesel I smoke nowadays is in concentrate form. When I was smoking it in New York, it was like in a joint, or it was in like a fucking bong. So it was flower. So that could have to do with maybe the standard flushing technique or the cure time in upstate New York or west or eastern New York or whatever, depending on where it was grown. There's a lot of factors when the way something tastes when it's a finished product. So it might not necessarily be genetic. It could be fucking regional. Who knows? I don't. That sour diesel was fucking fire. Whoa. That was crazy. And these 2021 or 2022s shred super, super hard. Man, I'm stoned. Let's check out the 5 mil for a minute before I get too stony. And talk about it. Man, the response for the 5 mils was crazy. I can't believe the amount of likes and comments and people reaching out. I was like, Jesus, if this is all you guys needed to like me, I mean, I would have done this forever ago, you know? But no, I'm just kidding. But seriously, like, it was nuts to see the amount of like reach this piece got specifically, for how simple it was and how novelty. Like, this is so novelty, you know. I would never stand in front of someone with a straight face and be like, this is the best smoking experience you're going to have. Like, I couldn't do it. I mean, maybe I could, but it wouldn't be honest. Like, I'd be like, hey, when I sell these to people, like even in the Instagram post, I'm like, disclaimer, these are novelty. These are fun. They actually function phenomenal. You can take huge dabs through them. But at the end of the day, look how little this thing is. You know, it's just funny. It's more comedy. It's funny. It's novelty. It's like something you pull out at a sesh, or people like, you hit up your homies and be like, dude, I scored an RBR. And they're like, no way. And like, I'm coming over with the RBR. And then you show up with this. And then they're all just like still excited, but they're also a little let down. So, you know, this is barely the full RBR experience. This is like an eighth of the RBR experience. Like, it's not even, this is great. Like, if you suck too hard, like literally people were leaving comments like, careful, you might inhale that, because it's that small. Like, it's tiny. Like, when I have the RBR crew neck on, like, it's like the size of like the little like badge that I have embroidered on the fucking crew neck. Evan Shore is sending me nails for them. We're going to be doing a drop of these. However, the first drop of 20 of these is going to be a Patreon drop. So we have been doing small drops for the Patreon, little random things, like if someone buys a piece and then their credit card like gets like canceled, the money gets pulled out a couple days later, and then we contact them and they aren't getting back to us, and we're like, all right, I guess they don't want the piece. Then we'll like put that piece, because like after a Sunday sale, if like we sell like 80, 90, if we put that many pieces up, there's usually one piece that someone's bank was like, no, we're rejecting this charge, and then the person just never gets back to us. So there'll be like a piece, and we've been putting those on Patreon now. So if you're not a Patreon member, I really would recommend signing up. Not only is there like a Patreon only special podcast on there, it's like a funny like studio podcast with the boys. There's like giveaways. Then there's like the Patreon only little drops and stuff. Like, we're gonna do the 5 mil on there, and then there's fucking scheduled lives. There's lives, like I said, where we go in, chat together. Like, I pull people in and we do like video chats together, and it's just, we're just chilling. Oh wait, touching alcohol. I don't really need a liver. Actually, I got plenty of liver to fuck up. I don't drink. So I did buy some alcohol the other day though. I don't know why. I think it's because I listened to a podcast where they were talking about alcohol, and I was like, damn, I could do that. I could do that too. And then I went and bought some, and then I drank it the way they said. I did all the things, bought some nice whiskey, and then I took a sip of it, and I was like, nah, I don't like that. And then I just went and took a dab. It was like a whole thing. I spent like an hour and a half, like went and got this nice stuff, like talked to the guy at the store. He like told me the whole story about it, bought special glasses. When I'm a glass blower, I could have made nicer ones than the ones I bought. So crazy what I'm doing. But it's crazy. And then I was like, oh, I'm fucking going to be like the cool kids that know how to drink the alcohol. I'll be able to talk to educated people now. Took a sip, and I'm like, I'm not going to leave my house anymore, because I'm not going to be able to talk to people that know how to enjoy these things. Because I'd rather take a huge dab and get a boba tea. And that's it for me. I mean, it's pretty simple. Like everything, like the alcohol thing, like I like alcohol and I'm not hating on it, but I'm not good at it. I'm really bad at it. I need to practice. The unfortunate thing is if you practice enough alcohol, it can lead to things, you know? It could be dangerous, which is exciting, but my life's exciting enough right now. It's tax season. There's all sorts of things happening. Oh, man. I hope all these taxes we're going to pay are going to really help some people out there. That's what I always say as I send the checks to the government. I'm like, man, I look at like a family that's not doing so good or something. I see that like guy like begging for money. I'm like, man, I hope this helps him. You know, just so the government takes care of everybody. It's fucking dope. You gotta pay the mafia, that way they don't fuck up your business, you know? And you gotta do it with a smile. That's alright. Look at me, smoking hash on camera. They talk about social credit scores coming to the United States, and they talk about how your internet browsing history and things you've posted online will contribute to your social credit score. And that may contribute to, will you be able to have a bank account or be eligible to do things based on that credit score and what you've posted online. Well, let me tell you, I'm not sure where I'm going to fall there. I have posted some questionable dad videos, hundreds of them, thousands of them. My phone, literally, ask any of my employees, they'll be like, Evan, in between, every time he's working, if he's taking a dab though, I'm filming the dab. I have fucking thousands of dabs filmed, because I'll do a bunch of dabs during the day and film every single one, and then I'll post them. I just save them, because I'm like, maybe I'm going to catch that awesome light, you know? That awesome, perfect angle. And honestly, usually it's not the light or the angle. It's usually like human error. It's like, oh, I choked up in the middle of that. Or, oh, like the temp wasn't perfect, so it didn't milk enough, so it didn't look that impressive, even though I'm dying over here. Like, you know, these are some real first world people who want to smoke weed on camera problems, but those are my problems, so I'm talking about them. And they're the simple problems. They're the problems I want to have in life. Last year, there was way crazier problems. I guess there's crazier problems now, but I'm just, you know, disassociating, so it doesn't really matter, you know? If you just smoke enough hash and drink enough coffee, you can disassociate while simultaneously panicking about everything that's happening from the caffeine. It's wonderful. I feel like I don't know if you guys feel like this though, but when like you like smoke weed and drink coffee, do you ever feel like you're just like canceling out both of them? Where you're like, I love doing both these things, but when I do both together, I feel like it just cancels them out. And I'm not doing either at that point. Damn, that cooled too much. Sorry, I gotta reheat that. This is the one thing about the 10 mils and me being a chatty Carl, is that, or chatty Cathy. That sounds better. I forget it. I like chatty Cathy. And that's nothing against Cathy's. I just like the way it sounds. But yeah, I talk too much, and these nails cool a little quicker. And I also didn't heat it up super hot, because this is not my nail. This is Mike C's nail, so I'm trying not to fuck up his nail. Because I'm definitely like, I feel like we abuse our nails here at Bear Mountain Studios, but I want to know how well everything works. I want to know, like, with real people. Like, people who are, like, in the middle of a dab, and then your wife yells out, did you take the garbage out yet? And then you have to run away and then run back and then reheat it again. And then finally, after you've been interrupted 3 or 4 times, you're like, fuck it. And you just throw it on there hot and chaz your nail. Or you just don't clean it right because you just have all these things happening. So that's normal people shit. So I'm doing normal people shit to these rigs. I'm knocking them over. There's a German Shepherd with his tail just grabbing shit, ripping it off the table. Nails are getting chazzed. Like, it's real life over here. And then I'm trying to see, how do these products do with real people? I'm not talking about the person that's like super meticulous. I'm talking about the person that kind of gives a fuck, or they believe they give a fuck, but you know, all the actions lead or imply that they don't really. They're just, everything else is more important than the glass. That's me sometimes. I'm just fucking a little bit all over the place. Oh, that looks like a perfect temp. Hell yeah. I'm trying to figure out what kind of cap I want to sell with these. This one's a directional. Very terpy. Could have been a little warmer, but really nice. Especially with a directional or a bubble, you can kind of just keep moving the oil around where it's a little bit warmer on the nail, and just take a bunch of nice like low temp pulls. However, I'm going to have someone on in the next couple weeks that can do fat gram dabs. Once I get the 5 mil Slurpee now, because Evan Shore is sending me a 5 mil Slurpee. Once I get the 5 mil Slurpee, I'm going to have someone do like a fat gram plus dab on a 5 mil, and we'll film it. Well, because I'm not qualified for nothing like that, and I don't want to take a hot dab, but this dude will take it hot and big and on a nail. Like I'll get the whole nail hot so that when this dab goes on there, like the gram has time to melt. And I want him to clog the rig in one dab. That's the goal, essentially. And if it doesn't, I would be surprised. Even though I didn't clog this, and we seshed this for about 3 days with like 4 or 5 people. It had a crazy amount of reclaim in it. I actually been showing people on live at night, being like, dude, look at the reclaim of this little rig. I just cleaned it for this episode, though. I just rinsed it out. Didn't like clean it. I just threw hot water through it, and it was just like, fuck yeah, dude. All the fucking shit blasted right out of it. It's so small that like the whole thing got warmed up immediately. Like that's honestly, you could fucking throw this right into an ISO dip jar. Honestly, you could just clean this right at your fucking dab station, dude. You don't even need to fucking go to a sink. You just throw the whole thing in the ISO dip jar. That's how small they are. It's nuts. But yeah, so how the drop's gonna work is I believe we're gonna do it on Patreon. It'll be like a private link. The reason we want to do it on Patreon is because I think there's enough Patreon members to buy 20 of these out of the like 200 or 300 people, whoever. I don't even know how many Patreon members we have at this point. But how many Patreon members we have, I think there's 20 people that will buy these. That way it's a special little thing for Patreon, and it's not like so crazy for Instagram, because there's probably 500 people that don't even really follow me or know about my glass that have reached out, and I've told them roughly where the price is going to be. They're like, yeah, I want one. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't reach out to 500 people, but I've had like probably about 500 people reach out to me that aren't like people that they seem like they just found me through this post. Like they're not like you folks that have been following me for fucking years, and like this is something that you've seen like little tastes of over the last couple of years of these 5 mils. So what I'm saying is that Instagram is just like a huge fucking ocean, and I'm trying to release these little guys into a smaller pond for people to safely catch and give a home. I fear if I put these out into the ocean, they might just get gobbled up too quick and not be able to grow, Analogies that don't really make sense, but we try. So let's take a dab of the semi-truck. I kind of want to do it on the ring drain, but I'm going to do another dab in the 5 mil. We're not done with the 5 mil. But that low temp dab in the 5 mil was pleasant, but I don't feel all terped and confused, I still feel like I'm here present with you folks. So I'm not stoned enough yet. Yeah, I know they're going to have like the metaverse and all these different like virtual reality platforms. But we should have like the terpverse, like where you get like really high. Maybe we can get high enough where we're all able to communicate on a different plane of existence. Or you'll just be schizophrenic. Either way, you'll be talking to someone, That's the thing. Sometimes I feel like I get so stoned that it's like the only people I could talk to that are people as stoned as me, It's like anyone else is going to be like, something's wrong with him. But someone that's as stoned as me is going to be like, dude, yeah, fuck yeah, dude, sounds sick. It's in my pocket. I'm looking for my paper towel. I don't leave it on the table for the podcast because it just looks like I have a dirty-ass towel on the table. It's just like kind of gross looking. So I pocket it for the cast. I got a new podcast table coming here eventually. We have it pulled up. We're just waiting for it to come back in stock. But it's nice. We're going to be able to use it for podcasts, and then the guys are going to be able to use it for lunch. I think of my studio like a tiny house, where like every like component can be like flipped and turned and used for different things. That way we can maximize space, because it's only a 3-car garage. So nothing crazy, but we make it fucking work. Everyone that comes here that's only seen it on live videos, they come hang out in the garage and they're like, man, it's smaller. I thought it was going to be way bigger. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's probably why you think I'm going to be way bigger when you meet me, because you think my garage is bigger. But none of us are that big. This garage is small. I'm small. I'm only 5'11". I'm going to start saying that now. said if I was 5'10" for years, fuck it. I'm gonna start telling people the truth. The truth is coming out. 5'11" and a half if you want to be specific. But yeah, you know, I've been growing up. I grew up recently. Like, well, I've been that tall for a decade, but I mentally found that out. And then I was like, whoa, I just grew. Like, literally even walking around, I was like, whoa, I'm like fucking like an inch and a half taller right now. I mean, I've always been that tall, but still I didn't realize it until someone told me, which was really cool. So big things have been happening for me. This Bear Mountain Studios fucking event that we're planning, probably by next podcast we'll announce a date. Been working on lots of the details with the people we're doing it with. Also, too, around 420 or on 420, there's a dispensary up in Denver that's I'm working with that is raffling off, like, they have like 3 or 4, I think 4 mini double diffuse or full color. So like anytime someone goes in and spends like money on hash or flower or whatever, like you get entered into the raffle. But I'll have all those details in the next couple weeks or so. But it's coming that time of year with like 420, and then like my event's going to be around 710. So it should be a fucking solid summer. I'm looking for water. I'm like over here. I'm like, I got a cup of coffee, but I feel like I kind of need water. But yeah, I'm like really excited to do this event though, because more for the people who like, even not the people who can buy stuff. Like, it's not even like, that's not really the main focus. The main focus is like, I'm trying to have certain prototypes and pieces there so that people can literally just be like, hey, like, I'm just going to go to the Bear Mountain event for like a half hour. I just want to go pull on the Titan RBR and the pump station, and I want to see what it's all about. I want to see if it hits how I thought or whatever. Like, I want to just have like clean prototypes like on tables with someone like monitoring and helping people and like keeping the mouthpieces clean and stuff and disinfecting or whatever, and like, but just so people can like come up and like just kind of like look at the function up close and play around with the piece, almost like if you were to go to like a dealership and they just kind of had like a handful of prototype vehicles out and they're like, hey, like jump in it, drive it around a little bit, kind of like see how it feels, see if it feels like what you thought it would feel like when you saw that video of that car driving online. Like, that's kind of what I'm trying to do, because that's the fun part for me, is like people like trying the function and then seeing their face. It's almost like when like if you're a cook or a chef and you cook something for someone and they like look at it and they're like, oh cool, but then they taste it and you see their face and they like love it, and you're like, or they love it but they have questions. That's the funnest part, is when you've like not impressed someone but you've open up their mind a little bit, where they go, whoa, that doesn't hit like I thought it would, or oh, that doesn't taste like I thought it was. The same thing with like hash and everything. That's the fun thing, is sharing all these little things we found individually with all of our peers. You know, like, oh, I found this function, I want to share it with people. Like, oh, I found this terp, I want to share it with people. I can cook this dish, I want to open a restaurant and share it with people. You know, stuff and things I want to share with people, mostly bongs. But I'm excited to hopefully pull this event off in the way I want to. There's still a lot of details to dial in, but I have faith, because we have so much time, that it's going to be exactly what I'm anticipating. And what I'm anticipating is just a low pressure, easy, fun thing to come to for a little bit. Check out some function. There will be some glass available, you know, and I'll be there hanging out and just walking around and talking about glass and shit. So come hang out. We'll announce a date here soon. I'm like talking about this thing. I know I haven't even given you guys a date yet. I'm really sorry. It's really like poor planning on my part, but I never like went into anything saying I'm good at planning. No, sir. I said if I was good at planning, I wouldn't be working to 4 in the morning. Someone that's good at planning would schedule and focus enough to be like, oh yeah, I work between these hours and get the same amount of work done. You know, but we all have our strengths. I'm just going with the flow at this point. I'm not going to fight, you know, against like how like naturally I do things. I'm just going to try and find the best way I can to like amplify those things that I am good at and just do well there, because I've tried hard enough over like my whole life to try and, you know, keep up with peers or be the same as someone else or be as good as someone else. Now I'm just like, dude, fuck it, dude. You got sour diesel, dude. Fuck it. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be as good as anyone because you got sour diesel. No, but that's not what I say. More or less, I'm just trying to enjoy myself and like not like set high goals, but not set goals that have a foundation of trying to achieve something similar to someone else. You know, just try to look at it like, everyone's created a path, and now I'm looking at a blank slate. I want to create my own path. I don't need to follow along with everyone. I can go along parallel, side by side with them on my own path, though, that works for me. Damn, this sour diesel's so fire. I already know I'm going to smoke this whole gram so quick. I got to figure something out, guys. I'm spending too much money on hash. It's a problem. And it's not because, I need hash, but have you ever tasted the terps? Do you eat more than the 10 Doritos they say to eat in one serving because you need the sustenance? Or is it because that terpy-ass coating on there of fucking seasoning? So I think people need to be really careful when they're, comparing the weed and stuff. And they're like, oh, you smoke that much hash because you're addicted. And it's like, dude, hey, I'm addicted to something, but I don't know if it's the hash. It might be the terps. Have you tasted the terps? And then most of the people haven't. So then we can't even have a conversation then. If you haven't tasted the terps, you can't even talk. Sorry. It's nothing of arrogance. I just have no way of explaining it to you. It's like psychedelics. How are you supposed to explain to someone fucking what it's like to be a DMT or mushrooms? You can't. So there's no conversation. And again, not to be trying to be arrogant or belittling to anyone. I just don't have the tools to explain to you what the fuck is happening. Oh my god. Well, Luna, if you haven't tasted the terps yet. But yeah, hash is dope. I wonder how long I'll be into it. I wonder if I'll be 45 and be like, man, remember when I used to smoke hash? Or if I'll smoke it forever. Because I know in the moment we're all like, oh, I'll smoke it forever. And I've been smoking hash for 11 years now, I think. And, no signs of stopping in the foreseeable future. But it's just crazy to see how people change over the years. I have so many friends that have stopped smoking hash. I feel like the last friend, when I was the last one playing World of Warcraft, or I was the last friend still skateboarding, everyone grew up. It's like everyone just keeps growing up. I'm like, god damn, do we just keep growing up and then you just keep stopping doing dope shit? To be fair, though, my friends do other dope shit. They're not stopping weed and being like, I'm just gonna be lame. No, they're like it's just not working for them anymore, and they're found other things that are working for them and cool hobbies and shit. So it's dope. It's all dope. Just y'all know how it goes. Every single person listening to this has a friend or a family member or someone they care about that they used to be super close with, and then you guys had different interests and you went different ways. That is something that's happened to every fucking person, I swear. Unless you grew up around wolves in the middle of the woods or something, then it may be different because I'm pretty sure they stick together as a pack unless you're an alpha and then they kill you off at some point. But holy shit. That ring drain, though. Did I even show this on the last episode? I don't know if I did. I probably did. Maybe. I've been smoking it since the last Sunday, Sal. No, I don't think I showed this off, though. Oh, did? It was there? Okay, cool. I just told me I did. I don't even know, guys. I'm lost half the time. So I didn't know if I should talk about it. It just keeps cracking more, though. But not leaking. But it just keeps cracking. It's all right, though. The new one's all done and taken care of. Well, almost done. Should be done by the time this podcast comes out, unless I break it, too. I don't want to jinx it. But, man, these are so fun to smoke, visually, when you're, looking down at these pieces. And the new ones I tweaked a little bit, so it looks the same. But I explained this on one of my lives. So I just made the internal diameter of the actual halo portion of this a little smaller than the little intake line here for the little tiny funnel. When I built this first one, I made them all the same size because aesthetically it looks good, and that's why I was like, okay, I'll make them all the same size. Did that. This piece works great, makes great function and funnels and all that stuff. But I wanted just a little bit more of an aggressive tornado, just a little bit. And I think by this little tweak, it'll give me a little bit more of aggressive bottom tornado here. Because it makes a tornado, but it's one of the skinny long ones. I want one that's a little bit more a little more whipping action. And I don't even know if that's super possible because of the halo portion. But still, I'm just trying to tweak the vortex, but I'll see here once I fully finish it. But like I said, by the time this podcast comes out, it should be done. I post function videos and shit. Yeah. It's crazy, like taking the design of this RBR design and like having so many variants of it like throughout the years, and like keeping it interesting and fun and new. And I don't know, I'm just trying to like be more like appreciative and proud of what like I'm doing. I get so fucking tied up in work that all I can see most of the time is where I'm failing or lacking. I'm like not sitting there going, fuck yeah, dude, I killed this. I'm usually just like, fuck, I missed that deadline, or I missed this, or this is happening, or this is broken. Now it's going to put me behind. Like, why is it so easy for humans to get consumed by like what's going wrong instead of getting consumed by what's going right? That might be a modern day thing, honestly. That might be something that's like even maybe a Westerner thing, I think with me, the fear of being too appreciative of what I've accomplished is the fear of letting ego plant a seed like in there that grows and eventually creates your downfall. So it's like maybe the fear of like losing anything makes me not want to appreciate anything, because I'm like, well, I don't want to appreciate anything I'm doing, because then it might lead to me thinking I'm cool. And if I think I'm cool, then I'm going to fall off. And if I fall off, then I'm going to go buy my kid roller skates when she's 10 and she wants them. And then all her friends are roller skating. And then it leads to this crazy anxiety where I'm thinking about things that haven't even happened yet, or maybe won't even happen. It's nuts. So you got to get sleep and not smoke too much hash, and don't drink too much coffee. That's what I'm saying. Oh shit, butane. That's what I'm saying right now, actually. But yeah, I'm trying to find ways to like balance all of that, and it's tough because I'm fucking working myself so hard to have that mental clarity sometimes, because when you're sleepy and you've been working super hard and life's coming at you, sometimes you're just running on emotion, and it's hard to fucking like sit there and put yourself like outside yourself and go, hey, what's happening right now? I gotta like center myself and chill out, because nothing's that bad. Everything's all right. I don't know. This is like a classic What's Up Everybody podcast right here. This is so classic, dude. It's good. It comes in waves. Like, we have episodes where it's weird. I love it, though. We're all over the place, and that's okay. And I'm going to keep doing dabs, because I'm going to do a bigger one on the 5 mil, though, and hopefully get a little bit more smoke out of it this time. But this hash is so fire. My tolerance is through the goddamn roof right now, because I've been smoking way too much hash, so I can just sit here and smoke and have fun and not be too confused. Kind of stay on track. Also, too, for as tired as I am, I mentally feel better than I have in a long time. Even though life has been doing crazy shit to us lately, I don't know why it's not affecting me as much, though. I don't know what it is. Like, because it's, like, just as hard as it was, like, 4 or 5 months ago, but, like, I don't know. Either way, I'm not going to question it. It's fucking dope, even though I did just question it, but I'm not going to question it anymore, because it's dope. Just got to stay in that pocket for as long as possible while it feels good, That's what she said. I need to grab... Just need a little water. There we go. All right. 5 mil. Let's try again. Ooh, I should soak my Slurpee, though. Can't wait to get some new nails. So excited. Especially for this 5 millimeter Slurpee. Super excited to try it. Because I might, if it works really good, I might have to make a 5 mil 3x2, like a little tiny triple double with like a little tiny drain, and then I'll do really big dabs through it. Simple goals, everybody. Simple goals. Have simple things you want to do. Simple shit. I'm like, oh, I'm getting a new nail. I'm gonna make this one pipe and get super stoned through it. It's achievable. Okay. That's the type of goals I'm starting to set for myself. Wow. Really growing. Learning things. But yeah, still all around hash. That's okay, though. Me and my wife are realizing, though, that, like, it's going to be really hard for us to find friends that are, like, like-minded with kids that are close by and everything. Because like all the parents that are at my daughter's school, and when I'm at drop-off and I'm like walking by other parents and like, dude, I feel like dude, they all look like adults, man. They all look so grown up. I'm like, how do you look so grown up? How do you look like that? Like, I look a little more grown up when my beard's cut, and I keep my car clean and shit. I'm not like a dirt bag. Not saying if your car's dirty, you're a dirt bag, but what I'm saying is I'm be as clean as I usually can be. You know, I'm conscious of it, but man, these people look all grown up. And I'm like, I pay taxes too, and I don't even look like you. I'm like, how do you do it? Like, when's it happen? That's my question. I want to know when it happens, when, like, you just start looking like an adult. I don't know. I want to figure it out, dude. Like, Ijah's over there shaking his head. He doesn't even know. Like, none of us know. Like, how do they do it? Because I look at all these other parents. I'm like, are all of you, like, how old are you? I can't tell if you're, like, 30 or if you're 50. Like, you all look like adults. Like, me, I feel like you can pretty much tell. Like oh, that guy's, like, no, I could be 30 or 50, too. But what I mean is just the way they carry themselves. Like, everything they do is just so, like, adult. That could just be my perception of these people, though. Like, when they go home, they could be fucking animals. I have no fucking idea. I don't hang out with them. But everyone else just looks like grown-ups sometimes. I mean, all the time to me. And I feel like I'm, like, a fucking kid. Huh. Who knows? Could be the skate shoes. You know? They wear shoes that I would never wear. And not because I don't think they're cool. It's because I don't think I'm cool enough to wear the shoes. Like, they're fucking... I don't know how they pull them off. I mean, I've been wearing skate shoes and Vans since 1997 or so. I don't even know. It's been like a long time. Like, skateboarding and all that, everything was my whole life. Like, I've never wore, like, New Balances or anything like that. Like, here, like, even what I'm wearing right now, bro, this is as close as I'm going to get to a workout shoe, and they're Vans. Like, this is it. Like, I'm like, oh, I'll wear those because they're Vans, because I'll work out in them, but I don't wear them around. I wouldn't wear these to the grocery store, though. I'd be like, no way, dude. All the other kids won't think I do good kickflips. I gotta wear my shoes with little rips in them so they know I can kickflip good. That way they know I'm a real skater. I'm not a poser. They'll be able to tell my flick toe. You guys know what the fuck I'm talking about if you skateboard. You've all been there. You know the kids actually skateboard at the mall. You can tell by their shoes. Okay, let's take a dab. That's fine if you don't skateboard. Skateboarding fashion is now like a thing. Like, and it's openly a thing. It has nothing to do with being a poser or anything. It's just like skateboard fashion. Like, people like openly say that's what they're into. Like, oh, I don't skate. I'm like into the fashion though. And I'm like, you know what? I don't hate any of that. I think all of it's kind of fucking cool. I'm like, damn, dude, when I was younger skateboarding, like, if I had a skateboard with me, adults thought that I had drugs and weapons of mass destruction. Like, I was like a real problem. And I'm like, now, like, skateboarders are like, I'm sure they run into similar things still, but for the most part, it's very accepted in mainstream culture. Like, not saying you're not going to run into that one asshole that's going to, like, run out and be a dick to you, but, like, for the most part, like, skateboarding is super mainstream. Dude, before fucking Tony Hawk Pro Skater came out in 1999, like, skateboarding was still, like, pretty... It was just starting to peek its head out of the water as being semi-mainstream. And now look at where we are, like, 23, 24 years later, we're fucking... It's crazy how much it's grown. Where's it going to be in another 25 years? I mean, it's, like, already a multi-billion-dollar industry. As it should be. Skateboarding is amazing, dude. If you're someone that's, like, introverted but also still loves, like, community, skateboarding is great. Like, because it's not, like, so much like being on a team, but you still get to, like, practice with your friends, you know? But you can also practice by yourself if you're having one of those days. Yeah, man. I miss skateboarding. I've been missing snowboarding lately. I've been seeing so many snowboarding videos on, like, Instagram and shit, and, like, watching people go, like, through powder and, like, backcountry stuff, and I'm like, good God, I miss it so bad. Like, I snowboarded for, like, 12 years of my life. That was a huge part of my life, too. Like, it's crazy. I'm just like, man, that's why sometimes I feel like maybe I feel a little bit disconnected from like my roots or like where I come from is because I don't do the things that used to define me as who I was. Like I was like Evan, I was like a skateboarding, snowboarding, guitar player. That's what I did. I did all the stereotypical things, and I really enjoyed them. But then like the terps, dude, the terps. And I found the terps, and I found glass, and I was like, bro, kickflips are cool, but have you seen little water tornadoes? That's pretty cool too, man. Yeah, it's fucking sick. Glass is dope. But I definitely like think that by year 10, which this is I'm coming up on year 9 this year. April will be the anniversary of my 9th year. So by year 10, so 2023, if people keep supporting and I keep building my business, I think I'll get to a point where I'll be like comfortable in my own shoes, and I feel like I have a good idea of how to like run my business and everything, where I can start taking more time to be a human. You know what I mean? Like I've been working so hard just to get this business going and like build something that could actually pay the bills, and I could be creative and, you know, have a job where I could be available for my family and a stay-at-home dad, and all these boxes I wanted to check to build the lifestyle that I wanted to have. Like I've almost checked most of the boxes, and I feel like once I have them all checked, then I'm going to be able to be like, okay, I know how to run this whole system now. Now I can start balancing out this life shit, because all I've been doing is working for the last fucking decade. Yeah, but I miss that dab. Just over here complaining. Yup. You know me. You know by now that I'm going to miss a lot of these dabs. This one, I'm not even going to hold it. I'm going to put this on the table. I'm going to get my face on the table. I'm going to take this dab like a gentleman. All right. I'm going to use a fucking dab right. Just got to put it all the way fucking down. That's the trick. You got to bend it down to like that. Okay. Gotta get the hash on there. I'm not missing this fucking dab this time. This is set up. I know what I'm doing. I have a plan, and I'm sticking to it. One thing I didn't do is I did not take my Slurpee out of the ring drain or halo drain and put it in the alcohol, even though I said I was going to do that. Did not do that. This dab's going to hurt. And, you know, honestly, it probably won't physically hurt too much. I think what's just going to happen is, like, you know, get the dizzies. Get the little dizzies. You get a little, woo, what happened? I'm lightheaded. This is fun. Now it's scary. Oh, I did too much. That's kind of like the natural. That's kind of how it goes. Okay, it's time. Get out of here, microphone. Ugh. What? That's Terpene. You know, that was just pleasant. It really was. I'm not going to even... It was. It was still a little low for how big of a dab was. Ooh, that was hot. I still got to grind that joint. Oh, my God. Yeah, because there's like a nice puddle in there. There's fucking terp-starved wooks in the Midwest. I could just pour this into their nails for them and just bless them. But we can't. It's not legal. So, because we do everything legal here, that's what it's about. So, terp-starved wooks will have to wait till we have a system where we can donate our low-temp terp puddles to, or our dirty dabbers. Either way, it is a waste. What can you do? On to the next one. I mean, at the end of the day, what can you do? We'll heat up another dab. We'll take another dab in solidarity and make sure it all melts. Or at least most of it. And that'll probably be our last dab of today's episode. Today's episode, we were just just brainstorming. When I say brainstorming, you were just listening to me. Oh, yeah, see, that's how you disrespect a nail. You know, that ain't good for it. That ain't good for it. That's how we do it here. I want to know. Science. Just like when, I don't know if you guys, unless you watch the Patreon episode, you won't know this story, but it's just like when I left that little bit of milk on my nightstand for months just to see what would grow in there. Experiments, dude. I'm a scientist. Last step, we're going to do some sour diesel. And then we get to work today. Fuck, but the boys don't have a kiln because we have the kiln. I gotta get it up on the bench. Gotta go rent a forklift or something. See if they have one available today. All these things are slowing us down. The last 3 weeks have been like just slow down from one thing after another, from like little fires and kilns going down, electrical shit, electricians being here for a couple days, like, you know, life. What can you do? Either way, point is, each little thing does put us behind, but the secret to that is coffee, weed, and not sleeping. And then you can get a lot done. Or you could scroll on your phone for an hour and a half and waste your time and then still be tired the next day because you're like, I should have just went to bed instead of fucking staring at my phone. That's the one thing with me working late at night. I can't sit down because if I sit down, like, I won't want to stand back up. It's like once I like plant my ass, even on these uncomfortable wooden stools we have here in the studio. Like, I bought these uncomfortable wooden stools for a reason. I was like, I'll have chairs out here, but not comfortable enough where you'll want to sit that long. Like, you don't want a comfy chair in your workspace because then you're not going to work. You know, you want something hard and rugged that's like, yeah, that takes a little pressure off other parts of my body, but now other parts of my body hurt from sitting on that chair. So, you know, it's the lesser of two evils, I guess. But, yeah, I'm just killing time while I heat up this nail again because the sound of this torch heating up is probably a little bit less pleasant than me ranting about absolutely nothing. I wonder what my employees think. I wonder if I do this to them. No, I'm pretty to the point with them. It depends how late they're here. Keymaster Brandon, he gets the worst of it from me because he's here late. So he catches like that. Sometimes he'll catch that midnight Evan, where it's like, you know, I'm just telling him how he's got to believe in himself and shit, and he's just like, well, this is too much. Like, just start overwhelming him, and then opening up doors he didn't even know were there, and then he's like more stressed out when he leaves. I'm like, what happened? And like, you know, it's fucked up, but what can you do? No, Brandon's fun. I did a Patreon episode with him. Yeah, he's gonna be on there a lot more with Cormac and Cassie and maybe Mike too, our new employee. He'll probably want to be on there. I think he's a watcher. He's a Patreon member too, I believe. I saw him on there and I was like, damn, dude, like, you're a Patreon member too? I was like, I should just gift you a sub. He's paying for a subscription. He works for me. I'm like, you're dedicated. He's about it. Love it. Sometimes it gives me anxiety though when my employees are doing a really good job and they're really dedicated. It'll stress me the fuck out. Because then I feel like I got to really keep doing a good job. And I'm like, wait, what if this is just good luck I've been having the last 10 years? Like, well, actually a lot of bad things have happened over the last 10 years, but there's been some good luck too. A bit of everything. Oh God, I'm not gonna be able to go to. I just thought of something. To get a forklift, I have to drive to the rental place with Brandon and talk to them, give them my ID, and rent this shit. I can't do that like this. Wait. they don't know these are glass blowing glasses. They could just think I'm a douchebag. That's fine. That's fine. Lots of people think that, and that's honestly, it's helpful. Helps you blend in. When everyone assumes they know exactly what you are, that's a fucking cheat code. Now you're like, perfect. Okay, they have a narrative. Now I can just do whatever the fuck I want. I'll just put my glasses down. They'll think I'm a douchebag, but really I did all the weed, which maybe also makes me a douchebag. I don't know. I think it's a real perspective thing. But this is episode 88. Classic What's Up, everybody. If you've never watched one of these and you made it this far and you're confused, we all are. It's fine. That's what happens. I don't know what I'm saying on here. I just take dabs, think about life. Sometimes it's about work. A bit of everything. But yeah, don't forget to sign up for all of our stuff. Just go to the website. There's all sorts of shit there. Nothing to buy, but there's some stickers and some shirts, but no glass. But there will be some soon. February 18th will be the accessory job. February 20th will be the Sunday sale. Sunday sale we'll have clear, but it's not going to be a huge one of color. I think I'm trying to do some fun crushed opal pieces. Like I really want to do some like cool crushed opal stuff. And I talked to my wife. I was like, do you think it'd be cool if I did this, or should I just do like color, like that's like more affordable? And she was like, dude, even if they don't fucking sell, like she's like, we'll just like hang on to them, whatever. Like just make what you want to make. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm gonna do a couple crushed. I'm gonna do some. I haven't done fancy like bigger crushed opal pieces in months, like a long time. So, yeah, sweet. All right, I'm stoned. You guys have a great day. This is episode 88. What's Up, Everybody podcast. Have a great day, everybody. We did it. Fucking another one.